talk here about the Detroit Auto Show? Yeah, that's the problem with G. Okay, and if we talked about the Detroit Auto Show, if you remember, we were talking about common stocks. I probably mentioned to you that you could have 15 analysts that go to the Detroit Auto Show to look at all the new cars. And it's not just the Detroit 3, it's everybody. And at the end of that show, 5 of them could say, I've got a hold rating on Ford. 5 of them could say, I've got a buy rating on Ford. And 5 of them could say, I've got a sell rating on Ford. All 15 of these people saw exactly the same thing. Okay, but what is the kicker here is 5 of them thought Ford cars were the greatest things they'd ever seen. 5 of them thought they're ho-hum and therefore, they may sell, they may not. And 5 of them thought, they were terrible and Ford was in deep trouble. It's those kinds of things that would determine what they believe would be the growth rate in Ford Motor Company's revenue. Now, are there ways to predict growth rate? Well, if you trust history, right, we could look at historical growth rates and project those into time. There are about 5 different ways to do that, and linear regression would be one of them. Moving averages are used. There are a variety of ways, but you'd be amazed at how well some people do this because they've got their ear to the ground so much in the industry. They really can look at, and the other thing they have is a whale of a Rolodex. Some of these folks can get to the CEO of General Electric more quickly than the CFO of General Electric, okay? And they take all of this into consideration. But Jason, it borders at, on some occasions, I mean, it looks like alchemy. I mean, it really does.
Like magic?
Yeah, it really does. And that's why you get such differences. That's why you get such differences. I mean, look, you can sit down and with extraordinary mathematical clarity say, given that GE's growth rate for the last 50 years has been this, I can project that into the future. It ought to be here, 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 and here next year. And the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that. But that assumes that the patterns that existed in the historical data you used to set this model up will continue to exist into the future. Folks, that is a fool's game. It's one of the reasons why we rarely use linear regression to forecast stuff, because it's based completely on the patterns that existed previously. Tough thing to do. It's one of the reasons why some of the analysts and some of these industry gurus get paid a whole lot more than others, is because they figured out a way to do that better than others. What else in 7? Let's go to